So at fusefabric, we've launched fusefabric's AI Studio. And at this point, it's a mixture of services and products to help retailers make the best use of AI capabilities out there in the market. It's a mixture of consultancy services. So how can you use AI within your organization to improve operational efficiency, reduce cost of ownership, make best use of data, generate content, or perhaps just helping your software development teams understand how to use AI and make them more efficient as well. Through to we can create proof of concepts, we can explore ideas, bring them to life, deploy point solutions using AI, through to actually making something from a production-ready application. So AI is more than just ChatGPT. And in fact, there's multiple ChatGPTs, even if we just start there. Essentially, they are chat interfaces to AI where you can ask it questions and it will do things for you, create complete tasks or have a conversation with it. And there are multiple ones. There's the ChatGPTs, there's Geminis, there's Claudes, there's Groks, there's Llamas, there's Pis. There's all sorts of models that you can talk to do things for you. Different models are good at different tasks. And you go, well, what's a model, Simon? Well, a model is essentially the brain of AI. That's what the model is. So different models are good at different things. Some are good at creating images. Some are good at creating content. Some of them are really good at coding, for example. So different brains, like the humans, different brains are good at different things. Different models are good at different things as well. So you have to choose the appropriate model for the task that you're trying to achieve. So you've got chat interfaces that are working with the models, which are the brains. And then you also have a concept of agentic workflows. And agentic workflows are essentially process flows that are trying to achieve something. So in your typical business workflow, an agentic workflow is very similar, but within that workflow, it's talking to different models, different brains to do different things. So it might, for example, have an input to say, okay, create me this piece of content. If this, do that, then process this, then talk to this model to create the content. And it might talk to something like a Claude Sonnet because that's good at creating text, and then create an image for that piece of content. So use a GPT, an OpenAI GPT, because that's good at creating image, and then put the whole thing and upload it into Shopify or send an email to the marketing team with all the assets, etc. So an agentic workflow is essentially a business workflow that works with multiple different models, different brains to achieve an outcome. The need for the AI Studio and why we're strategically investing in it at fusefabric as a pillar to the business is because the more conversations that we have with our clients and new prospects and just generally talking to people within the industry, AI is being used as a term everywhere. People are coming to us and say, look, I need to use AI. The board's asking me about how we're using AI in the organization. I'm seeing competitors use it or at least talk about it. How do I actually make the best use of it beyond using something like ChatGPT to rewrite an email or create a piece of content? So we see a need for it because people are talking to us about how can they make the best use of it. I think the approach that the fusefabric AI Studio will take that's different to the rest of the business or our typical services is that AI is moving so fast. So whatever we think about and design and deliver today will most likely be obsolete in a few months' time. So there's a real mindset shift in the applications that are being delivered or the solutions that are being delivered that they're only very short term. And I think that's a really interesting challenge for organizations. Those that traditionally invest in software will look to depreciate that asset, sweat that asset over a number of years. So even that conversation with the CFO is going to be quite interesting and difficult because you normally go to the CFO and say, okay, I want to spend X for this application and we'll have it for X years and everything's very linear and traditional. Whereas in this case, it's, I want to spend X. I'm going to build this application that's going to drive this benefit to the business, but I'll probably want to redevelop that in a few months' time because the space has moved on so fast, or the model that's driving that is now no longer in existence. So we're going to have to change to a new model. Or in fact, there's a new model that's just going to do that for us now. So our application is going to keep changing and evolving. So that's the difference in the piece, that it's not necessarily building AI solutions for the long term, but building them for the short term for immediate benefit. I think the difference that I see between brands trying to use AI in-house versus fusefabric's AI studio is that brands are looking purely at certain points of their processes in order to improve. They're not necessarily stepping back, looking at entire processes and thinking about how can AI be used within the process or to replace parts of the process, or even in places the whole process, because that has a direct impact to potentially the organizational structure, people's roles, responsibilities. And that's quite hard, I think, for brands to really be true to and ask those questions. And so having a third party take that view or ask those difficult questions, suddenly you're going to get more out of investigating that process end to end and really leveraging that AI capability. I think there's 4 exciting areas of opportunities for retail brands to use AI. I think one is operational efficiency. How can they improve operations, faster time to market for content or product attribution, various tasks that exist within a retailer? I think second part is data. How can retailers leverage the enormous amount of data that they have to make decisions or drive user experiences with AI? And I think the third area is around content. So how can we use AI to generate content, long form content, video content, UGC content, all the different types of content there are out there, and also go all the way to the fullest extent to publish that content on all the different social channels as well, which then drops back into how do you increase operational efficiencies. And then lastly, software development. All retailers have some development teams, testing teams. So how can retailers leverage AI to get the most out of their software development capability internally? I think it's important for brands to act now when it comes to AI, because the space is moving so fast. You've got to keep on top of it. You've got to keep understanding what's possible out there. But I think that's also a challenge in itself, is staying ahead of the game and understanding the art of possible with AI. I think that's another thing that I see as we have conversations about, can we use AI to do X, Y, and Z? But actually having AI experts or people that have worked in AI to come to the table and go, did you even know this was possible, is really going to help you move the conversation forward. I think an example of that is sketch to images. So we can now take a sketch of a new product in any form and create a real life image with it, with a model in a real life setting with a simple prompt. So rather than going from sketch to sample process and all of those inefficiencies and cost and time it takes, we can now take a sketch and create a real life image from that sketch. So if you're a CTO looking to leverage AI, my advice to you would be not to try and solve everything with AI. Look across the business, identify key processes that could be improved, whether it's through operational efficiency or cost of ownership or other factors. Map them out at a high level. Don't get involved in the absolute detail. Map them at a high level and then identify within that where AI can be used to improve those processes. Then take those, put them into a list, prioritize them based on value to the business, and then really just work your way through that list and work out where AI can be applied to those parts of the processes. If you're looking to explore how you can leverage AI within your organization, then please reach out to us on LinkedIn and we'd be happy to have a conversation about how we can help you.